So, hello there. I'm here again to our reading speaking practice. Today, we are keeping reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and let's give it a go, shall we? So, where did the where did I stop? I think I stopped here. That was a narrow escape, said Alice, a good deal frightened at the sudden change, but very glad to find herself still in existence. And now for the garden. And she ran with all speed back to the little door. But, alas, the little door was shut again, and the little golden key was lying on the glass table as before. And things are worse than ever, thought the poor child, for I never was so small as this before. Never! And I declare it's too bad that it is. As she said these words, her foot slipped, and, and in another moment, splash! She was up to her chin in salt water. Her first idea was that she had somehow fallen into the sea, and in that case I can go back by ra- railway. Sorry, railway, rail, railway. She said to herself. Alice had been to the seaside on once in her life, and had come to the general conclusion that wherever you go to on the English coast, you find a number of bathing machines in the sea, some children digging in the sand with wooden spades, then a row of lodging houses, and behind them a railway station. However, she soon made out that she was in the pool of tears, which she had wept when she was 9 feet high. I wish I hadn't cried so much, said Alice as she swam about trying to find her way out. I shall be punished for it now, I suppose, by being drowned in my own tears. That will be a queer thing to be sure. However, everything is queer today. Just then she heard something splashing about in the pool a little way off, and she swam nearer to make out what it was. At first she thought it must be a walrus or hippopotamus, but then she remembered how small she was now, and she soon made out that it was only a mouse that in had slipped in like herself. Would it be of any use now, thought Alice, to speak to this mouse? Everything is so out of the way down here that I should think very likely it can talk. At any rate, there is no harm in trying. So she began. Oh, Mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? I am very tired of swimming about here. Oh, Mouse. Alice thought this must be the right way of speaking to a mouse. She had never done such a thing before, but she remembered having seen in her brother's Latin grammar a mouse of a mouse to a mouse, oh mouse. The mouse looked at her rather inquisitively, and seemed to her to wink with one of its little eyes, but it said nothing. Perhaps it doesn't understand English, thought Alice. I dare say it's a French mouse, come over with William the Conqueror. for with all her knowledge of history, Alice had no very clear notion how long ago anything had happened. So she began again. Où est ma chatte? I'm sorry, I just realized that I'm practice a little bit of French, but my French is awful, so. Uh, but let's practice a little bit of French, shall we? Which was the first sentence in her French lesson book. The mouse gave a sudden leap out of the water and seemed to quiver all over with fright. "Oh, I beg your pardon!" cried Alice, hastily, afraid that she had hurt the poor animal's feelings. "I quite forgot you didn't like cats." "Not like cats!" cried the mouse in a shrill, passionate voice. "Would you like cats if you were me?" "Well, perhaps not," said Alice in a shooting tone. "Don't be angry about it. And yet I wish I could show you our cat Dinah. I think you would take a fancy to cats if you could only see her. She's such a dear quiet thing," Alice went on, half to herself as she swam lazily about in the pool. "And she sits purring so nicely by the fire, licking her paws and washing her face, and she's such a nice soft thing to nurse, and she's such a capital one for catching mice. Oh, oh, I beg your sorry. Oh, I beg your pardon," cried Alice again, for this time the mouse was bristling all over, and she felt certain it must be really offended. "We won't talk about her any more, if you'd rather not." "We indeed," cried the mouse, who was trembling down to the end of his tail. "As if I would talk on such a subject. Our family always hated cats. Nasty, low, vulgar things. Don't let me hear the name again." "I won't indeed," said Alice, in a great hurry to change the subject of conversation. "Are you are you fond are you fond of dogs?" The mouse did not answer, so Alice went on eagerly. "There is such a nice little dog near our house I should like to show you. A little bright-eyed terrier, you know, with oh, such long curly brown hair. And it will fetch things when you throw them, and it will sit up and beg for its dinner and all sorts of things. I can't remember half of them. And it is belonged to a farmer, you know. And he says it's so useful, it's worth £100. He said he says it kills all the rats, and oh dear, cried Alice in a sorrowful tone. I'm afraid I've offended it again, for the mouse was swimming away from her as hard as it could go, and making quite a commotion in the pool as it went. So she called softly after it. "Mouse dear, do come back again, and we won't talk about cats or dogs either. If you don't like them. Sorry, do come back again, and we won't talk about cats or dogs either if you don't like them." When the mouse heard this, it turned round and swam slowly back to her. Its face was quite pale with passion, Alice thought, and it said in a low, trembling voice, "Let us go. Let us get to the shore, and then I will tell you my history, actually, and you will understand why it is I hate cats and dogs." It was high time to go, for the pool was getting quite crowded with the birds and animals that had fallen into it. There were a duck and a dodo, a lory and an eaglet, and several other curious creatures. Alice led the way, and the whole party swam to the shore. Alright, that's pretty much it. I've read 3 pages today. We are on page 20. The next video I will gonna start on the 21th page. I said that many times, but I find that the Alice quite. I do not know if I should say Alice or something like Alice. Alice. Um, I don't think I have ever practiced this phrase, and I probably have heard it, someone saying the name Alice, but I can't know for sure whether it is pronounced Alice or Alice or something like that. I suppose it is probably Alice. It seems the most precise to me, one could say. Well, uh, I've I've enjoyed a lot today's reading. It is funny how the story goes. Alice and her quest into the Wonderland. It's quite amusing, and I've enjoyed it indeed. I quite enjoy it indeed. It seems to me that it is a great book to practice reading out loud. I said to you, I've read it before, and I will probably be using this opportunity to read it out loud cover to cover. And once, and another thing, also I will be trying to find, uh, sorry, trying to find grammar structures here. I read it carefully each page, searching for interesting grammar structures so I can study them, and then later I can put them on my Anki flashcards. So that's it. Um, as I said many times, I really enjoyed this book. I want to keep it. I'm willing to buy the Alice through the Looking Glass as well. I will be buying it later. I finished my readings of I Study in Scarlet, and maybe I will be looking to read it out loud when I finish Alice. So that's it. See you guys later. Bye.